everybody, welcome back to Two Little Crows Homestead. Shelly here, Randy's doing the camera, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on our tromboncinos. They have pretty much taken over this half of the garden. This bed right here, you can only see like half the bed. There's kale growing right here, and it's actually doing really well. I had picked a bunch of this kale and gave it to my daughter Jessica because she loves it. What do? They cook it in the oven and make kale chips with it. And then there's some celery right there that I guess it's still harvestable. It's getting big, but the tromboncinos have taken over, and you can see all the way down. They're kind of staying out of the sweet potatoes down there, but they've taken over where my asparagus is at. And yeah, so I saw this big one and I pulled it. And the really cool thing about tromboncinos is that they are resistant to pests. So you don't really have any issues, or we haven't had any issues with squash bugs getting into them. I planted a couple summer squash plants or yellow squash plants back over there on the other corner, on the other side of the tomatoes, and bugs got to them and ate them up, but they did not touch any of this. I do have a few plants right there that look like they're dying back, and I don't know if that's like the general progression of this, how that's supposed to work. I've contacted Michelle at Permapastures Farm to ask her what, her advice on that. But as I'm seeing these great big ones, I'm going to go ahead and pull them. And you can store these. I mean, they'll keep. So, last year when we got the original, or the one, Billy brought me one at a festival, and I think they had got it out of their garden in like August or September, and I didn't cut that thing open. It actually sat on our dining room table from the festival was in October, I think, is when he brought it to me, and it sat on the table until March when I cut that thing open and got the seeds out of the end down here and brought them out here and planted them. And there was, like, no joke, there was like 400 seeds, or over 400 seeds. I stopped counting at 400. So we came out and planted that whole row over there, and they have just taken over the garden. So our plan is to as they get bigger, because some of them are still kind of small. Let me see if I can find, like this one right here. See, that there's some of them are still kind of small, but a lot of them are as big as this, and so we can pick these, and I think I'm going to find a place to store them in the barn, and then we'll just feed them to the pigs as we want to. So let me get in there and see if I can find some bigger ones.
That big one over there, Shelly.
Where? Point me.
Over there.
There's one right here.
One right over there, too.
Is it in that little pathway right
yes.
here? Okay. Trying not to step on plants. These things have taken over. Here's a big one. Oh, there's another big one. Ah. Watch me run across this snake up in here. If I was to talk to Mike at work, he'd be like, there's snakes up on that ridge, Shelly. These are huge, y'all. They're just huge. And there's got to be 100 of them in here. They are everywhere. a great big one right there I'm trying to get to, but I'm trying to find a place to put my foot. Check out that one. They're so big. Can you come get this one? I can't reach back there where I had it. Is the one you're talking about over here?
Yeah.
You got it? These things are absolutely, what is the word I'm looking for? Prolific, maybe? They're just, they grow like crazy. And I know,
Up there in the corner.
right here,
Yeah.
I think Billy said that, yeah, that's a big one. Billy said that, you know, they got the idea to plant these. There's another one from Sean and Beth Doherty, and there you go. And the reason that they recommended them was because they're so resistant to bugs. So that is very obvious, because I've not seen any of these yet that any kind of bugs have like gotten into them and eaten on them or anything like that. They are all completely, you know, like, look like this. They're all fine. But some of these leaves over here are looking like they are burnt up, which we've had. That kind of makes sense, because was it last week we had some like 90-degree temps several days in a row, and maybe that's what happened. They started to get burnt up. So I'm thinking I may be able to come in and just pull out these plants that are burned up, but those down there, they don't look this bad. Good Lord, they're everywhere. Praise the Lord. Food for our animals, right? And you know, I'm very thankful for that, because just tonight, Randy and I were talking when we were eating dinner, and he said, you know, normally when we go get feed for our pigs, we buy 6 bags, and we have, how big are those drums?
55.
55-gallon drums in our barn, that 6 bags will fill up one of those drums. And we've been going and buying 6 bags, and guess what? They ain't filling up the drums anymore. So I don't know if that means, well, I mean, what that says to me, I guess we need to check. But what that says to me is shrinkflation. And they're not raising the cost of the feed, but they're lowering the amount that you get in it, right? So instead of it being 50-pound bags, they're probably 40-pound bags now, because they're not filling up our There's some kind of white bug down here on the squash, but I don't know what that is. But yeah, they're not filling up the barrels anymore. Oh Lord. Let me see if I can get this one. Check it out. That's huge. Look at that thing. It's absolutely huge. So, yeah. This is only, I mean, there's still a bunch over there that I didn't get that I want, hopefully will get a little bit bigger.
Plus a bunch on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, there's some on the outside of the fence, some out down there on the outside of the fence, and then all of these, all the way down there. So, I think we're gonna have a good harvest for our animals. I don't know if I can get over there. Ah, thank you. All right, let me grab these. So what is that? There's one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just off of a couple plants in there, 14 of them. It's crazy. Also, I wanted to show you the Jerusalem artichokes, because this is another thing. We planted this for our animals and for us. So, everything that I've read says that you should, is that a Jerusalem artichoke growing on? Looks like it grew out of the side of the bed. Okay. But here's some smaller ones that are coming up too. So the Jerusalem artichokes, everything that I've read said that you should dig up the roots after the first frost. So, and I think that has to do with, like, it's kind of like with carrots. And, you know, like if you leave the carrots in there when the ground is freezing and stuff, they'll get like a sweeter taste to them. I think it's kind of like that. It has to do with the starches in the roots. I do know that a lot of the places that I've read, it says that some people find Jerusalem artichokes, the roots, hard to digest. Sometimes it doesn't, and I mean it. I don't think it means that, I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean that it's, you know, like you can't digest it. I think it gives people gas. But the roots and the stems and the leaves and everything can be fodder for your animals. So, like, I'm 5'5", and you see how tall that is. They're like up to 10 feet at least. Especially like that one back there in the back. Don't you think that's about 10 foot tall? I mean, that's huge. At least 8 foot. But I think what I'm going to do is come through and cut these down to half, and they will still grow. If you cut them down to the ground and leave the roots in the ground, like, you don't have to pull these out like you do potatoes. You know, like if you leave potatoes in the ground, they'll rot. But these, you can leave them in the ground and they'll just grow more plants next year and grow more roots and all of that stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is come through and cut them about halfway and feed this to the animals. And because this, I mean, all of the Jerusalem artichokes that I planted, I think I had 25 tubers, and I planted them in this bed. This bed is, how long are these? Are they 8 foot?
I think so. I don't remember.
They're 8 foot by 4 foot, and these have completely like grown out and come into the walkway. And it's just because they're so tall, they're so big, so they're falling over. But yeah, so I'm gonna come out here and cut back some of that stuff and feed it to the animals. And then we're right now in full production of cucumbers, and like here's one right here that I need to pull off. There's cucumbers all over this thing, and this is actually the first year that it's the third growing season that I've had this trellis up, but this is the first year that the cucumbers have actually like gone completely. They're almost meeting at the top, which is cool. So yeah. And then I have pulled off some jalapenos from these plants right here, and there's some bell peppers growing over there, and some cayenne peppers, and sweet banana peppers or yellow peppers over there. They're growing too. I've already pulled some of those off. And I'm not gonna lie though, I'm kind of looking forward to pulling out the tromboncino when it's done producing, and cleaning up these beds, because I think I'm still gonna try to plant some green beans. I mean, it doesn't take long for them to grow, and I'm thinking about planting green beans and putting them over that trellis, like Kentucky pole beans, and then planting some of the Roma beans that I actually like in that bed right there, because they just make bushes and you can pull the green beans off. So yeah, the garden is doing fantastic. It looks crazy. There's stuff everywhere, but we're getting food for us and food for our animals, and I've almost got enough tomatoes to make another batch of spaghetti sauce. And because my goal this year is 50 jars of spaghetti sauce, so every time I make a batch, that's 11 to 12 jars of that, and that's pretty exciting. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the garden of what's going on out here. Be sure to go over and check out KentuckySustainableLiving.com. That is where you will get all of the information for our festival in October. Guys, this festival is going to be amazing. We've got so many great speakers lined up to come and teach about so many different topics. Everything from preparedness to homesteading, animal husbandry, animal processing, solar, living off grid and solar stuff and all of that, water catchment. I mean, there's so many things that you can learn at the festival. It's going to be October 28th and 29th at the Ag Expo Center in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's the WKU Ag Expo Center. The festival is free. We do have a few paid classes, and you can check those out on the website and see if you're interested in doing any of those. But Saturday night, we're going to have that charity dinner for Vets for Child Rescue. Our goal is to raise $10,000 to pay for a sting operation to put pedophiles in jail and get some children out of sex trafficking. So that's our goal for this year, and we would love to have you there. So anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, God bless you. Have a great day.